Okay, so I want you to imagine a mountain, but don't picture, snowy peaks or hiking trails.
Route.
This is a mountain made entirely of black copper slag. It's 20 meters high. It goes on for 2 kilometers, and it just sits there like a huge scar on the landscape.
And the rivers that run past it,
They're not blue, they are orange.
literally orange. We're talking iron and copper levels 500 times the legal limit.
And the air. The air is so thick with sulfur dioxide that just standing there, just breathing, is statistically shaving years off your life.
We're talking about Karabakh,
Yeah.
Russia, a place UNESCO once called the most toxic place on Earth.
And you'd think, okay, we're going to do an environmental episode, but that's not why we're taking you there today.
No, that would be almost too simple. We're looking at Karabakh because it's the perfect stage for a different kind of toxicity.
Right.
Our sources today are really interesting. They're all centered around this Sundance-winning documentary, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, and this dense academic paper on something called the pedagogical turn.
So we're looking at how a place that is physically poisoning its people became the lab for an experiment in, well, ideological toxicity.
Exactly. We're going to break down how the Russian education system got a complete top-to-bottom overhaul after February 2022. How they tried to engineer a new kind of citizen.
And our mission for this deep dive is to really understand the mechanics of that. How do you turn a school system into a tool for, well, for thought control?
And maybe even more interesting, what happens when one guy, a Mr. Nobody, decides to turn his camera on and film the whole thing from the inside.
Let's dive in.
So, Karabakh, the Black Mountain.
This place has been smelting copper since 1837. I mean, that is a long time to be dumping industrial waste.
Almost 200 years of it. The sources literally describe the area as post-apocalyptic.
Wow.
There are huge zones, like 10 square kilometers where nothing grows.
That.
It's just a barren, gray wasteland. Looks like another planet.
And the human cost, I mean, the numbers in the report are just staggering. Life expectancy in Karabakh is somewhere between 38 and 45 years old.
That's medieval. It is. That's a statistic you'd expect to see from, the 14th century, not a modern country.
But here's the paradox, and this is what really jumped out at me from the research. I think this is key to everything else. Despite the sulfur gas, the gray concrete, the residents, they love it there. They don't want to leave.
It's a crucial psychological detail. The sources talk about this deep, almost defensive bond they have with the city.
Our home.
Exactly. They've normalized the toxicity. And I think that really sets the stage for what happens in the school.
Okay, connect those dots for me. How does that work?
Well, just think about the mental gymnastics you need to live there. If you're conditioned to accept that your own health, your life, is less important than the industrial goals of the state,
You're already primed for something else.
you're already primed for a certain kind of political radicalization. You're used to sacrificing yourself for a greater good, even if that greater good is literally killing you.
So the physical environment creates the psychological one. You learn to stop coughing and just breathe the fumes.
Exactly. And into this world walks our protagonist, Pavel Talankin, or Pasha.
Pasha, the Mr. Nobody from the film's title. Before 2022, he's just working at school number 1 in Karabakh.
Yeah, he's the educational project manager, and maybe more importantly, the school videographer.
And it sounds like a pretty normal gig at first.
Totally. Was filming school plays, Christmas parties, the choir, the innocent stuff, making memories for the parents.
And then February 2022 happens, the invasion of Ukraine, or as the state insists on calling it, the special military operation.
And suddenly the script flips.
Yeah.
This is where we get to the pedagogical turn.
Right.
The sources use this term, souverainisierung. It's a sovereignization of education.
Sovereignization. It sounds like some kind of corporate buzzword, but I'm guessing it's a lot heavier than that. What did it actually mean?
It means autarky of the mind. The state basically decided that education couldn't be autonomous anymore. It couldn't be connected to global standards.
It had to become a tool.
A tool for national survival. They cut the cords to the West, turned the whole system inward. The goal wasn't just math and literature anymore. It was to create a sovereign worldview, one that aligns 100% with the Kremlin.
So no more teachers improvising lessons on current events.
Zero flexibility. The sources break it down into 3 specific pillars they rolled out to reshape these kids' minds. It's very systematic.
Okay, let's unpack these pillars. This is the real machinery of the change. What's number 1?
The first one is the conversations about important things,
Okay.
or Razgovori o Vajnom.
Okay.
This started in September 2022, every Monday morning. Mandatory.
And I'm guessing conversations is a bit of a misnomer. This isn't an open debate, is it?
Not even close. The materials all come from the Ministry of Education in Moscow. Teachers get scripts, literally line-by-line guides on how to present the government's view on the war, on national identity, on the West as an enemy.
So even if a teacher disagrees, they're just a mouthpiece.
You have to be. If you go off script, you're liable. You could lose your job. Or worse.
Okay, so that's Monday morning. Start the week with the official story. What's the second pillar?
Ritualization. Every week starts with a flag ceremony and the national anthem.
Creating a return of loyalty.
It's about the physical act. The sources say that at school number 1, these were often led by a history teacher, a guy named Abdominow.
Oh, we're definitely getting to him later.
Oh, yeah. But the goal is to merge school authority and state power. You salute the flag, you sing this song, you sit down. It's muscle memory.
And the third pillar?
The movement of the first.
That sounds like something out of a YA dystopian novel.
It's basically a direct throwback to the Soviet pioneers. It was founded in December 2022, and the goal is to control the kids' leisure time.
So it's not just in the classroom.
No, you don't just hang out after school. You join the movement. It's designed to instill traditional values and keep you in the state's orbit even after the bell rings. Total immersion.
So you have this huge system shift. Monday propaganda, weekly rituals, after-school clubs. And this is where Pasha, our videographer, comes back in. Because the state needs proof that all this is actually happening.
Exactly. The bureaucracy needs its reports. The ministry demanded video evidence of these patriotic events. They needed to see the flags, hear the songs, so they tell Talankin, film everything, send us the files.
Which is the ultimate irony. They gave him the perfect cover.
The perfect cover to document what was really happening. It's like something out of a spy movie. He's standing there, camera on his shoulder, officially working for the state.
But he's actually recording what the sources call the naked mechanisms of indoctrination.
And the footage he captured. It wasn't the polished propaganda Moscow wanted to see, was it?
Not at all. He captured the glitches, the awkwardness, teachers stumbling over words like denazification, clearly reading from scripts they barely understood themselves.
And he filmed the kids' faces?
Yes. Bored, confused, picking their nails, just staring at the floor while some adult is ranting about enemies of the state. It strips away all the grandeur.
It shows that it's not some organic patriotism. It's a bureaucratic grind.
It's hollow, but then it shifts. It goes from just boring speeches to weapons.
This is the militarization of the classroom. And it's not a metaphor. We're talking about actual soldiers in the school.
Wait, active duty soldiers?
Veterans. And specifically, mercenaries from the Wagner Group.
In a classroom, with children.
In the classroom. The sources are very clear. You have men, some of whom were literally recruited from prisons to go fight, now standing in front of a class.
And what are they teaching?
Not history. They're teaching kids how to identify landmines, how to treat gunshot wounds.
That is just terrifying. It's normalizing the battlefield for them.
It's like the world's grimmest show and tell. The curriculum started to include grenade throwing and machine gun handling. There's this program, Zarnitsa 2.0.
Zarnitsa, that was an old Soviet war game, right?
Yep, they revived it. It teaches tactical skills and builds what the sources call a cult of violence. The idea is to make these students feel like they're already soldiers in waiting. War isn't something you avoid. It's a potential career path.
And there's another piece of this that I found so manipulative. The letter writing.
Ah, the letters. Compulsory. Yeah. Every kid has to write letters to soldiers on the front line.
And why is that so significant? Beyond just being sad.
Because it makes the child psychologically complicit.
Right.
Think about it. If you write a letter that says, "Thank you for protecting me," you've just accepted the entire premise that you're in danger and that soldier is a hero. You've participated. You're invested in the state's narrative.
It forces them to pick a side before they even know what the sides are. And this is all being backed up by new textbooks, right?
The new history books by Vladimir Medinsky.
Yeah.
They frame Russia as a besieged fortress. The narrative is that everyone has always been out to get them.
But there's a detail about that history teacher of Dumanow that it stopped me cold.
This is our true believer.
He is. He's all in. He tells Talankin that loving the fatherland is as mandatory as loving your mother. But then he says he admires Lavrenti Beria.
Wait. Beria? As in Stalin's head of the secret police? Beria.
The architect of the Gulag.
Yes, that Beria. And Abdominow calls him an efficient manager he'd like to meet.
That's just wild. It's like saying you admire Himmler for his organizational skills.
It shows you the level of historical revisionism going on. If Beria was just an efficient manager, then the Gulag was just a logistics project. It completely erases the morality.
So on one side, you have Abdulmanow, the true believer, teaching this stuff.
And on the other, you have Talankin, the nobody, holding the camera, feeling physically ill listening to it. He described himself as a stranger in his own city.
But he didn't just film, he did these small, almost petty acts of resistance.
I think it was his way of staying sane.
Like the anthem incident?
Yes. He played Lady Gaga's version of the U.S. national anthem over the school speakers.
That takes some nerve. In a school teaching kids to hate the West, you're blasting Lady Gaga singing the Star-Spangled Banner.
And other things, too.
Yeah.
He'd replaced the Z war symbol on windows with an X, which is a symbol for supporting refugees. He hung a Democratic flag in his office.
Tiny things, but in that environment, incredibly dangerous. If Abdulmanow had seen that.
Game over. And eventually, just filming wasn't enough. He knew he had to get the footage out.
And how did that happen?
He saw an Instagram post from a Russian company looking for heroes to feature in a project.
And he responded.
But instead of applying, he sent this long, raw email about his ethical crisis, about all the lies. And that message, somehow, found its way to an American director, David Borenstein.
Wow.
And for 2 years, they coordinated in secret. Talankin smuggling out footage, terabyte by terabyte, all while the Kremlin was making the laws on treason stricter and stricter.
A huge risk.
If he'd been caught, he would have been gone for a very, very long time.
And while he's living this double life, the war actually comes home to Karabakh, September 2022. The mobilization.
This is what broke the illusion for a lot of people.
Yeah.
The sources point out a pretty grim reality here.
Which is
The recruitment intentionally targeted peripheral regions, like Karabakh and ethnic minorities. The goal was to minimize protests in Moscow and St. Petersburg by taking men from places the elites don't really think about.
And this hits Talankin personally, his former classmate Artem Volko.
Artem died in Bakhmut, or as the Russians call it, Artemovsk.
And Talankin went to the funeral?
He did, but he couldn't film. It was way too dangerous to have a camera out at a military funeral, so he recorded the audio instead.
And the description of this scene in the sources is just haunting.
It is. In the documentary, the screen just goes black, and all you hear is the mother sobbing. It completely shatters the state's narrative of a heroic death.
There's no glory.
There's just loss. Pure, ugly loss.
So you have the toxic air killing them slowly and the war killing them quickly.
And eventually the net starts closing in on Talankin.
This is summer 2024.
Police cars showed up at his house. He knew the double game was up.
How did he even get out?
It was a very close call. With help from the Danish producers on the film, he booked a fake vacation. He managed to grab the hard drives with all the footage. And he fled.
And he can't go back.
He's in exile now.
No. But he saved the footage. And that footage became the film Mr. Nobody Against Putin.
Which premiered at Sundance in January 2025, and now it's an Oscar nominee. It's being called a unique primary source because we have so little footage from inside the system like this. We see the polished news clips, but we rarely see the messy, awkward process of creating them.
It's incredible that we have it. But I want to pivot to the future for a minute, because Talankin got out, but that system he filmed, it's still there.
And it's ramping up. The sources mention a pretty terrifying long-term goal from the Russian government. They want to massively increase the percentage of patriotic youth by 2030.
By 2030.
Yes. And they're not waiting for high school anymore. These programs are being expanded into kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
We're talking about children as young as 3 years old being introduced to these narratives.
3 years old. That's a generational reformatting.
That is exactly the right term for it. And it brings us right back to where we started. Karabakh, the Black Mountain, the sulfur.
The metaphor is just sadly perfect.
Just like the city is poisoned by copper slag, the society is being poisoned by a narrative that allows no doubt. Talankin's footage was, as one review put it, a desperate attempt to preserve a little bit of fresh air.
But if you remove critical thinking from the curriculum, from the time they're 3, if you raise a whole generation to believe war is virtuous...
Oh, that's the provocative question the sources leave us with, isn't it? This isn't just a temporary wartime measure. It's an infrastructure project for the human mind. If you systematically remove the tools for critical thought, are you also removing the possibility of any future political change ever coming from within? Can a society heal from ideological toxicity if there's no one left who even knows how to diagnose the poison?
A heavy thought to leave you on. We want to thank you for listening to this deep dive into the invisible mountains of Karabakh.
Stay curious and keep asking questions.
See you next time.